This is a recording of the Kansas City Secular AA Speaker Meeting held every Saturday night at 7 o'clock p.m. at HJ's Youth and Community Center, 6425 Warnell Road, Kansas City, Missouri. This is episode 23, and our speaker is Kevin S.
All right. Welcome to the Secular Speaker Meeting. I'm Simon, and I'm an alcoholic. I've asked Chris to read the preamble.
AA is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover. We have no dues or fees for membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help others to achieve sobriety. I forgot to say, my name is Chris, and I'm an alcoholic.
Thank you. Our secular group attempts to maintain a tradition of free expression and conduct a meeting where all may feel free to express any doubts or disbeliefs that they may have and to share their own personal form of spiritual experience, their search for it, or the rejection of it. Keeping with AA tradition, we do not endorse or oppose any form of religion or atheism, or only wishes to help those who want recovery without having to accept anyone else's beliefs or having to deny their own. During the meeting, I'll pass around my hat. If you'd like to donate $1 or something to coffee, rent, podcast, it's always appreciated, but it's not necessary. We don't have any visitors. Is there anybody who would like to celebrate with us an extended period of sobriety of any length of time? Okie dokie. Start the meeting with Kevin here. Do his deal. Then we'll pass around the mic if anybody wants to respond to what they've heard, or if they've got anything that they'd like to get off their chest. That would be the time. I'll pass around the microphone, and this will all be broadcast online. So if you have something you'd like to admit from that, you have to let me know afterwards, or turn off the microphone or something. You can listen to all the past podcasts at secularaaspeaker.org. This is also an open meeting, so if anybody who is not an alcoholic wants to come, or if you guys have friends or family that you'd like to bring along, they're welcome as well. I think that takes care of it. I'm happy to introduce Kevin, and you can take it from here.
All right. Hello. The time now is 7 p.m. Saturday. Are you drunk yet? I'm Kevin, and I am an alcoholic. Warning. The following presentation contains violence with references to drugs and or alcohol. The FDA does not approve this presentation to cause, cure, or prevent any diseases. Viewer discretion is advised. June 13th, 1990. I'm naked. I'm hot and cold at the same time. I'm suddenly bursting into the world out of my cocoon, stretching my arms out wide, hoping I have wings. Feeling my head of glorious fire-red hair. Yawning in exhaustion, loving my soft, warm blanket. Getting a bottle shoved in my mouth. The doctor said I looked like a peanut. My brother said I looked like Chucky. My mom said I looked like Kevin. I can't remember too much of my birth. I suspect it probably happened during one of my blackouts. I had a lot of those as a baby. What can I say? I loved the bottle. Not much has changed. I hated school because I was always in trouble. I didn't get to hang around kids very much. So it was a long 5-year timeout. I don't remember learning very much. High school went quickly by. Classes were never a priority, though I achieved good marks. I didn't do too well being around other kids and stayed to myself mostly. I'd ride my bike a lot, looking for hidden places I could hide in. You could say I've always liked hiding, but never any place for very long. If no one saw me, they couldn't catch me, and if they could catch me, I wouldn't have to think about them. I was afraid of their friendship. I didn't know why. I was afraid of anybody liking me. I think it was because I always thought it was a trick. Saying hi to me? To me? They don't think I know what that means. Honestly, what nerve, freaking jerks. I'll show them. I'll show them. Show them what? I don't know. But they're sure gonna see. See what? Shut up. You can't do anything. I can do things. Do something. I will. You won't. I ran. I liked the idea of being an actor for the immediate gratification I felt from a live audience. It made me feel useful and a part of the human race. So I auditioned for a school in New York and I got in. I was lucky enough to receive a decent student loan and I was gone, finally away from all the terrors. The terrors returned. Depression reigned immaculate. I couldn't stop crying. First I tried weed, then I tried liquor. Then I decided going to school wasn't so cool anymore. Drugs, alcohol, nothing could be better than that. I was hooked. I started doing cocaine now and again with the weed and liquor, and really got off. But after 2 years, I ran out of money and had to move back to Missouri. I'd thrown away New York City, my great escape. I was supposed to be a star. Everyone was gonna love me then. I'd show them. I kept thinking that. Now I was gonna show them something else. What I became. My life was over. My life was just beginning. I'd pretty much decided by now that I was going to be a junkie. To be completely honest, I decided that from my very first puff of something as gentle as weed. People argue it's not a gateway, but I'm telling you it was a gateway for me. I quickly was introduced to crystal meth, and I found heaven. Baby, you're all that I want. When I inhale you in my lungs, I'm finding it hard to believe, but I found Kevin. But every time I took breaks from it, I fell back on alcohol much harder than before, somehow trying to attain a high as powerful as I was getting from meth. Not really a possibility. So I went back and forth with the two for the next 6 years. The problem was that every dope dealer I ever got always ended up ripping me off or running off with all my money. So I started to get real comfortable with the convenience of the liquor, and it became my one and only. I still didn't really have any friends and spent a great deal of time alone. But it didn't feel like the alone I felt as a child. I felt a lot more okay about it, which is all I really wanted. Compulsive drug seeking is a way of life. I adopted it with ease and enthusiasm. I actually liked the process of getting the drugs more than actually doing them. The American dream was bullshit, and I sought the fringes. There's no better feeling in the world than prizing something above all else and needing nothing else. It is true love, addiction. the only true love I ever felt, the only one who always called, the only one who always answered. Time seemed an imaginary force I had suddenly escaped. I was falling deeper and deeper under her spell. And then I forgot. Forgot the love, forgot the reasoning, forgot feeling, forgot her. I was her. I hadn't slept in years, living in constant confusion, moving only by the pull of substance and adrenal fear. It felt like a string had been attached to the center of my forehead. I dragged my feet through the motions as I released my hands from the wheel and gave up control to the darkness of a sickened mind. I've landed in New Jersey, New York, Kansas City, California, and Oregon, where I found jobs, found apartments, lived in cars, or slept on the ground. What I remember most is waking up. Waking up in parking lots, under bushes, in fields, in woods, behind convenience stores, behind libraries, in drunk tanks, in hospitals, in ambulances and police cars, in subway stations, in puddles of puke, in piles of trash, and lucky how often in my own bed. Regaining a moment of consciousness always left me in great fear. So much time had passed. What was going on? What was I doing? I didn't know. But I knew that something had gone horrifically wrong. I wanted to forget. I thought I must be dreaming. There was always a bottle in arm's reach when I woke. I froze for a moment in hesitation, then put my lips to it and guzzled until I felt a tingle run from my head down through my body. Letting out a rotten breath of relief, I gasped for a moment and stared into the darkness of my room. Blankly, I thought of nothingness and started to feel the sound of jazz. It was 3 a.m. It was always 3 a.m. The witching hour, someone once said. I awoke from the spirits to the spirits like this for the last 3 years of my drinking. Withdrawal symptoms had become evident. Body shaking or legs kicking, my head turning from side to side, letting out tiny screams, feeling like The Exorcist. It was my sickest part of the day. I'd stumble over to the window where I cracked it open and took a couple drags of a cigarette, then dropping it into an empty can of beer, feeling too nauseous to smoke. I gazed at the quiet parking lot of my apartment, then up to the open sky. I felt alone. Closing the window, I drank all that I had left and laid my head to rest. An hour or two. Alarm would sound, and I'd roll out of bed with hands stirring the table beside me for $2 and change. It was 5 minutes till 7. I walked to the convenience store for my breakfast. This was routine business by now. The store clerks walked to the refrigerator door to unlock as I walked in. Malt liquor. My old English breakfast. I drank it for the high calorie content so I wouldn't have to eat. Secure now in a paper bag, I nuzzled it close to my chest and quickly drank before getting on the bus. Time for work. Lunch, 3 shots of rum, 1 Dr. Pepper. Back to work. Cheery, not dreary. Dinner, 1 pint Sailor Jerry, 1 Cherry Coke. Dessert, 2 40-ounce bottles of Old English. Sleep, repeat. It was the same old story, same old song and dance, my friend. I heard that song every single time I came off of a binge. No matter where I landed, whether it be a short binge or a long binge, that song always came in my head because everything always looped back around to the same place. Nothing would change. And I was nowhere. Sometimes I had money to kick it back in gear, but when I didn't, stealing became a natural act. I was never a thief before, yet I felt no remorse. I only stole what I absolutely needed. I needed to drink. It was like having to steal the air I breathe. No questions asked. See, alcohol should be free for alcoholics. We should all be assigned a card that says alcoholic on it for us to flash to the cashiers, and then we'll be on our way. Most drinkers aren't really alcoholics, so they'll still get their money's worth. The rest of our fees will just be covered by the taxpayers. I'm sure they won't mind. But here I was, just living to die. My only satisfaction comes with overdose. I've never been satisfied when the high is just right. I always have to ruin it. It pisses me off, too. I always have to take it to whatever level comes next, for better or for worse. It was always worse. I made sure of that. I craved disaster. I lusted for chaos. I had entered the wormhole. No one has eyes in the wormhole. You can't even enter without the spirits to guide. Where they take you is up to them. They may take you home like a decent date, or they may take you to the grave like a weird date. Yes, I've been taken many places. I've been taken from Kansas City on a bus, to a cab, on 2 planes, on a train, and in a police car, I assume, and was left in a tiny cement room under bright white light as I woke up. I was scared. Where was I? The last thing I remembered was leaving detox, so naturally I bought a 5th of rum so I could retox. They must have got me, I thought. What kind of horrible experiments were about to be performed on me? I looked out the tiny window and saw a man staring at me. I started begging him to please let me out. I was sorry, I won't do it again. But he just stared. Then another man came over to the window. He looked at me. He fell straight back against the wall and slid down to the floor, pulling on his hair and screaming with irritation. His head hung low to the ground, and I waited. Then he said, "You're in the drunk tank. How many times do I have to tell you?" I guess I'd already asked a few times. He was a little overdramatic, I thought. Then again, a second ago, I was screaming like I'd just been abducted by aliens. I really thought I was. I was released onto a sidewalk, and I looked up, and I saw Portland, Oregon. I couldn't believe it. I didn't plan any of this, but I was there. One took over the line. So I walked to the liquor store and bought a drink. One took over the line. American boy. American junkie. White-skinned male, they say that I'm lucky. I feel like an immigrant fresh off the boat. Everyone around me's busy drowning, but I float. Floating on the side of the road with the thumb out. Take me to the city where the lights are pretty. I want to see the heavens before I die. I want to see an angel without getting high. Travel everywhere from here to there. I need speed. Speed is what we need. Greasy, fast, lightning speed. I'll never be freed. Chains bound the slaves of the dopamine feed. A victim of the rush. One-way ticket on a one-way bus. I cuss the driver, but take the ride. The high's the ride. The ride's the life. The life's the high. The high's my wife. I'm an addict. I always will be. Until I'm fixed. Fixed how? What does that even mean? Fixed. Ask a dog and he'll tell you. Fixed? It worked fine before you got your hands on it. Fixed. Everyone thinks they have the right idea. Before you know it, they all get their dirty little hands on you and you're a real mess. Nothing seems right. My head is spinning. Everything I am is wrong. I can't be what you want me to be. I want to die. Teardrops roll down my cheeks. Whose skin am I wearing? I start to panic. I can't breathe. My lungs are too small. My palms clam up. I place them on my head and drag down, ripping the hair. They were selfish. No, you were. I was? No, I wasn't. I hate you. You did well. I did wrong. The future's bright. The future is dead. I was dead. You're not dead. You're a genius. Pick up that pen. Pick up that knife. But I was dead. Cut yourself. I don't want to. Make it bleed. I don't want it. Then why are you thinking about it? I want to. I hate you. No, I hate you. Kill yourself. I hate myself. I'm nothing. You're nothing. Grab it. Let go. Slice it. Rub it on the walls. Rub it on your notebook. Take pictures of what you did. What I did? My body was sliced everywhere I could slice. I stared in the mirror as my heart raced. I was hideous. I was beautiful. Fixed? I was broken. Bloody, bloody burden. Age-old sacrifice. With shoes tattered and splattered, soulless as I. They hurt me. I hurt I. Everyone was blind. Troubled in the mind, broken, irrational, subsiding to the bad as the good. Shadowed from light, only able to see at night the truth, the real. The hollowed eyes and hollowed stomach, youths. And proofs that children could age in the body but not the mind. Dragging feet through dark alleys, dark bars, abandoned buildings, along the train tracks with great admiration of direction, of a way out. Trapped in an earthly bound spirit at the end of the bottle's tunnel. I peer through the dry, brown glass. I see the end. Always the end. The end at every tunnel, every path, every ride, all directions point to the end. You've lost it. I walked and walked, searching for the crossroads, begging for answers, longing for the reaper. I became obsessed with death. I wanted to break on through to the other side. I'd seen death. I'd wrestled with it. I kissed the lips of the serpent's tongue. She's cold. So she pushed me away. I didn't really love her. Perhaps she knew that. She said she didn't mind when I hung around Crystal, or Molly, or Mary Jane. But she hated me when I was drunk. She said I was like the walking dead. Then what use was I to her? Death only comes to the living. I called and called. She wanted nothing to do with me. I was alone. I had no girls. I had no women. I had no friends. I was alive, but I had no life. I had no life, yet I couldn't die. It was a miracle. I was invincible. Thank you, Jesus. It's no surprise I've come to spend many countless hours in the loony bin. It was the greatest insult at first. Then after the first few times, I came to be happy to wake up there. The doctors and nurses all knew me, and even some of the patients I'd recognize. I was one of the regulars. All this time I searched for the feeling of home, and it turns out it was in the nut house. Maybe I did have problems. Maybe I really was crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. So they locked me in a round rubber room and left me there to die. Die? Well, I don't want to die. The worms will eat me. I hate worms. They drive me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. So they locked me in a round rubber room and left me there to die. Die? Well, I don't want to die. The worms will eat me. Worms? I hate worms. They drive me crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. So they locked me in a round rubber room and left me there to die. Die? I don't want to die. The worms will eat me. Worms? I hate worms. They drive me crazy. Crazy? You see, crazy can be a bad word to use. Like most name-calling, it tends to make a person amplify the definition. Call me crazy, I'll show you crazy. Call me alcoholic, I'll show you what real drinking is. Call me an addict, I'll overdose on every drug I can get my hands on. In this world where so many countless minds sit and wonder what their purpose is, it's an easy thing to buy into. It's a possible answer to the great question, who am I? America? Who am I to you? Just a number for the census? America, when will you ever come to your senses? Why am I so lonely? What secrets can you tell? Why am I still alive? America, what does living feel like? Does it feel like butterflied stomachs? Soft lips? Does it tickle? Does it hurt? America, why do I run from everything? When will I be home? I forgot how to love. I remember long walks and sweaty palms. She smelled like my baby blanket. America, where am I supposed to go? I've hit a dead end and I've ran out of gas. I have a shovel. Should I dig a hole? America, what does dying feel like? Does it feel like butterfly stomachs? Soft lips? Does it tickle? Does it hurt? America, why does every direction lead to an end? Why does every step have to be a step closer to the last? America, what number am I? Who am I to you? No one can define us but ourselves, and screw all you Merriam-Websters. I'm here talking because I've been hanging around drinking too much. I know I should have cut him loose long ago, but I guess I just really hoped he would change. Hoped he would get better. Hoped that I could help him on my own. But I couldn't. I kept him around even though he poisoned me, stole all my things, my money, my apartment, my girlfriend. What was I thinking? I hate being asked, but I don't mind asking myself. He did come with me when I strapped a backpack on with only a couple pairs of clothes and left and became homeless. But same old friend. It wasn't long before I'd wake up with my backpack missing, and he was gone too, of course. Must have found some other friend. I finally had nothing left. I had found my crossroads. Laying on the ground, in the dirt, in the itchy grass, in the smell of forgotten hygiene, with nearby piss wafting its odor up my nose. My skin was crawling with ants and flies. I never felt closer to the earth than I did right then. So close to the cold, lonely, forever. So close to the great, beautiful, shining star in the sky. So close to the active particles of microscopic proportion, crashing, exploding, sticking, and growing. Into life. Into me. Into you. I was again a seed in the womb of my shrunken aura, given the option to grow again. It was spring, the time to bloom. Becoming sober was the only thing I could do. I was lucky enough to be invited to stay with my family again. Every single day has been a hard journey and will be very hard for some time to come. I may have quit drinking, but the trail of empty bottles still mark an 8-year current of disaster, spreading from one side of the country to the next. I still carry the stench. I feel as though I have ticks covering my entire body, each one a problem. These problems continue to suck me dry, but slowly, I've begun picking each one off, and things are, little by little, getting better. I have to continually remind myself that I worked my hardest for 8 years to tear everything down. There's no way I can rebuild it in merely months of sobriety. One day, I'd like to be a role model. I don't know how to give advice. The only thing I have to offer is my own confusion. I can't tell anyone not to drink or do drugs because no one could ever tell me. We either do or we don't. A lot of it's ingrained in our DNA. An odd predisposition to taste the forbidden fruits, then find ourselves unable to stop at a taste. We eat it all until we puke. Even more odd, we eat more even after we puked. Agnostic AA has taught me that the best thing I or anyone else can offer is their own experiences. An open ear can help you more than I ever imagined. We don't tell each other what to do, but through our stories, we help each other make suggestions to ourselves what we should do. Alcohol was supposed to be my loaded gun that I could have handy anytime I was looking for a way out. I pulled that trigger repeatedly. I don't know what happened, but I must have been drunk and forgot to put in the bullets. 'Cause it never worked. Then again, maybe it was Russian roulette. Maybe I was lucky. Not so many are. Life is a long walk on a narrow line. The edge really is always just a step away. Try not to slip. Thank you.
That was awesome, Kevin. Excuse me. Yeah. It's nice to get a fresh, I don't know, kind of I don't know, way of presenting that matter. We don't get a lot of poetry in here. I suspect as well as everybody else really liked having you around. I don't know. I'm going to open it up to the floor. Start here with Chris. We'll pass the microphones around. And if we get back to, I don't know, having a little discussion or something, I've got another microphone here. Or if you want to chime in at any time, feel free.
I'm Chris. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Chris.
Wow. No words. That was just absolutely incredible. There's so many things that you said that I could identify with. 3 a.m. That's probably the one that stands out the most. Seems like it's always 3 a.m.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
But that's all I can say because, I mean, this was incredible. Thank you for sharing.
I'm Kanan. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Karen.
I knew you were going to burn down the house, and you did. and it's been so great to see you keep coming back and keep being a part of the group. I mean, everybody just really they really enjoy having you around, and it's been really great to see you share all the things. Like, people think you're so funny, and you are, and it's really and you're very thoughtful too, and you're very well spoken as well, and it's always really great to hear what you have to say, and it's always very obviously sincere, and it's really great. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Hi, my name is Courtney. I'm an alcoholic. Kevin, I am just stunned, and so thank you. That was poetry. I mean, I'm stunned. Not that I didn't expect it, but just absolutely floored. And
Well, I hoped you wouldn't expect it. That's what I was hoping. So I'm not really that funny. I couldn't keep that up.
you're hilarious, and I enjoyed this. It was more serious, and I didn't know what, like, you're a brilliant poet. I mean, you're a brilliant writer. You used to like be in public speaking. I mean, I'm stunned. I don't really have words, and I'll just pass.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Kevin, I just want to thank you for letting yourself bear, which is very difficult to do, and it's hard to understand or expect what you will get back. And so you just throw it out there and say, here I am. And so thank you very much, because that's something that very few people are able to do with much confidence.
Man, thanks.
And I'll
Thank
pass
you. I
this to
appreciate
John.
that.
Hello, I'm John. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, John.
Wow, thank you very much. That was really well written and well performed, and just incredible. I'm getting to appreciate poetry a little bit more. I'm reading some of it every week or so, and what you prepared there and delivered is a lot like poetry, I guess. But I don't know. It's like I'm gonna really enjoy listening to this when it comes out on the podcast, because there's a lot in there, a lot of you coming through there, and a side of you that I never really got to see in meetings. And I really appreciate you, like Jeffrey said, having the courage to be honest like that with your story. And I know something's working for you. That's one thing I thought in the end. It's like, this is pretty freaking amazing that all we do is get together once or twice a week and talk and whatever. And it seems like, that's what's helping us. I don't quite get it, but anyway.
I don't think anyone gets it.
I'm glad it works though.
But yeah, that's why I really try to tell anybody who does have a problem to try it out, because, it's not going to be a one-time thing. You're not going to show up and we tell you the answer and then you're fixed. I really got stuck on that word fixed, because I've had people say it about me. But the fact is it takes time, and just being around other people that are suffering from the same thing seems to help the most. So it's better than feeling alone.
Wow. I'm amazed. I always look forward to seeing you and hearing you. And Kana really got it. You are always so deep and so real, and then you lob that in right from the left side. And I'm cracking up. I expected to have a good time tonight, but I had no idea. That was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Doug, and I'm an alcoholic. I don't know.
Hey,
That was all right, man. I don't know. Whatever.
Thanks, Doug.
Kind of forced. No kidding.
I knew I should have let you read it first.
I got to close it down. No, man, that was really good. That was just, I kind of, just from all the times been to meetings together, and it's like John said, it's only, we meet a few times a week, but you really do get to know people. I think better than a lot of, people you may have been friends with a long time, but, there's that kinship, I guess, or the honor among drunks and addicts. I don't know. But that's really, man, that's a really good job. Thanks.
Thank you, Doug. Means a lot.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Emily.
Kevin, that was great. Thank you for sharing. What I really appreciated was how you explored the really dark and ugly things that happen inside when you're in the throes of something you can't control. Because, friends and family and strangers, they see, the mess you are outside and the mistakes and the failures and how they perceive them. But, it's really hard to explain how you feel about it. That sounds like a really trite way to say it, but yeah, I could relate to a lot of it. So thank you. Also, I get kind of annoyed when people tell me I should write things because I'm lazy and I know I'm not going to do it. But you should maybe consider writing more. If you want to.
I do write quite a bit.
Okay, good. Great.
This wasn't the first time.
Okay, great. I didn't think so, but
But
yeah.
haven't read it out loud though before. So
Cool. Keep at it.
Can I ask a question? So where did all this come from? Did you read a lot before? I mean, how are you able to speak like this and put this together? What's your background? I mean, I know you told us the 8 years, but I just am wondering.
Right. Well, to tell you the truth, I was a little worried about how I wrote it because I wasn't sure if it would make sense in terms of continuity of a story. But when I think about these things, this is all I can say in my head. This is all that comes out is something that has complete and perfect imagery, down to the T, holding nothing back. And that's how it has to come out. I have read a lot. I like a lot of poetry, yeah.
Who is your favorite poet? You can have a few.
This speech reminds me of the greatest poem ever written, and that's really why I wanted to do it, which is a poem called Howl by Allen Ginsberg.
Okay.
And that was a great inspiration for me because that's in a lot of ways how I felt. I feel a lot of pain for not only myself, but for people I don't know, and it's crushed me for years because I can't do anything about it. I always felt like it was my job to fix people, but there's no fixing, you know? So I just write and don't tell anybody nothing.
And can I ask about your brother? So you talk about your brother a lot, and so he's older than you?
Yes. I have an older brother who has gone through a lot of the same things as me, especially in terms of addictions. We shared all our addictions together. We started them together. We always did it together until he decided he wanted to be a grown-up, and he wanted a real life. He wanted to get married and have kids and go to the PTA. And we kind of stopped hanging out, and I just kept kind of doing drugs and drinking. He really got me started on it, and that's also one of my great pains is not being close to him anymore. But he didn't do any of those things that I just said. He just attempted, and now he's very far away from me and struggling with a heroin addiction. And once again, I feel like that's something I should be able to help. But I can't. I can't get back there anymore. So I think a lot of my thoughts and my feelings go towards things that I can't physically help. Things that feel too far away from me to even speak of. That's my greatest inspiration, is the pain that the whole world shares. You know? That's it. I don't know.
Well, thank you for sharing. I just wondered, so here's...
Chris again. One of the things about the way you articulated and the way you wrote and the way you presented is the fact that, and I've thought this about you even in your shares and other meetings, is the fact that you're one of the few people that I know where it's like, okay, I'm 57. The 29-year-old me, I wish I would have known you then to understand a little bit more about what's going on at that particular age. What you shared and what you said is absolutely timeless and ageless and non-discriminatory. But this is the first time I've ever heard something or heard from somebody where I was like, oh my God, you have been able to effectively put me in your shoes. And to go back to that time when I was 29 years of age and what was going on in my mind and what was going on in terms of my thoughts, it was almost like a time travel for me a little bit, because it was just incredibly well presented, but so thoughtful and articulated. And it's like great literature or other things that are great that are really timeless that you go back to time and time again. So I know I'll be listening to the podcast.
Well, that actually makes a lot of sense. You made that connection because for some odd reason, since I was a kid, I just don't feel right. I don't feel like this is my body. Like, I don't feel like I'm supposed to be a woman. Like one of those things, that can happen these days. But I just feel like, what the heck? I just got flown back down for another chance at life. I feel like I lived before, and that's why everything's kind of dull now, because it's all the same. And I think a lot in terms of the past, because I feel like I was there. And for you to be able to time travel back, you just did what I did. That's awesome.
You did good, Kevin.
All right, I thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate it more than anything. If nobody showed up, I would totally kill myself.
I am sad it's already over, to be honest.
But thank you, yes.
We can do it again. You want to do it again?
I'll do it.